My grandparents and my parents and everyone, they hadn't gone to university. No one had been to university in my family, but it was always sort of expected that I was going to be the first one to go to college. I remember coming home from school, and one of the first things in the evening, my grandma would sit down at the dinner table with me, and we would start doing flashcards for my homework, or spelling test the next day, or getting ready for chemistry and learning the periodic table. I grew up in a rural setting, and at one point I had dial-up, and there was challenges sometimes, especially as I got towards high school, when things were more online on a computer, and they were still very supportive. They would try to get satellite internet, and they would go out of their way to try to, tether on the phones. And my parents growing up would do everything they could to make sure I had access to the resources I needed to make sure I was prepared for college when I finally got there. Even though they had never gone to university themselves, they knew the importance of it, and they really wanted that for me. So from a young age, they were always very supportive of the education, and it always came first. One of the reasons I chose Fairmont State was that it offered everything I needed. It had the majors I needed. I was able to meet with financial aid. They came to my high school. I was able to come down one day and do like a tour in high school. So, and again, I wasn't really familiar with higher ed. No one in my family was. So Fairmont State staff and faculty, everyone was really there to help me transition from high school to higher ed. And in high school, all those resources were there by the university, and they were already reaching out, enabling me to make that transition. I remember this internship was supposed for NASA, and I really wasn't sure where to begin. I had never had a resume before, right? I didn't really know how to craft one, and after one of my English classes one day, I remember going up to the professor, Angela Swear, and asking her, if she would help me craft a resume and to apply for this internship. And without hesitation, she ecstatically, said, she'd be happy to help me do that. And that resume that, that she took the time to help me craft, is what landed me my first internship, which led to my first job out of college, which led to a full-time career. So like I very much credit my success to to going all the way back to there, and just that time she took to be able to help me craft that resume. Ted LaRue. There's some other great professors. Randall Baker, they were computer science professors, and even when you had questions that maybe wasn't about their class, they were always available. They had open door policy. Those professors, before on exam week and before important dates, they would come to the university early in the morning before these exams, before these projects were due, to be there to answer questions, not only for their class, but for other classes in the department. And they really went over and beyond to make sure you had all the resources and everything you needed to be successful. How higher education has benefited me is really being able to have the flexibility and the means to do what I'm passionate about. Um, I work serving federal customers and federal missions that are really impactful to this country and the nation at large. And having a higher education, it really allows me to do work that is meaningful that I really wouldn't be able to do otherwise. So I'm really proud of the work I do and the impact it has, and I wouldn't be able to have that impact if it wasn't for the education that I received at Fairmont State. So Fairmont State was the right choice for me, as it had all the resources I needed, and it was so personalized. I never was in a classroom with more than a few dozen students. The professors knew your first name, and that was such a big difference, right? You could go there, you had a class with professor one year, the next year you might see that professor again. I mean, even if you didn't have a class with them, they would remember, ask how you were doing. So the personalized education and attention, with also the endless amount of opportunity, that it wasn't just confined, the opportunities that Fairmont State provides isn't confined to the small town, the local town. It provides a worldwide of opportunities, but with a personalized education. And that was so important to me, and it made such a big impact in my life and career.